just the pure eyeball test look like they're just a little bit better than everybody else.
All right. Good day, YouTube. We're going to go live here for a little bit, lunchtime. Go over some stuff, not just to self edify myself. You guys don't have to listen because it's just me ranting, right? We'll give it a minute for people to check in here. Realize that there's something going down. See what's shaking. Hope everybody had a good weekend if we haven't seen you since. But we'll get this started. Being healthy, orange, right? Hey, Truth Freeze, what's going on? Change my settings there real quick. How's things? Is it wet back there? Still digging up sandbags and whatnot? Who else we got? Anybody? Whoa. Hey, what's up, bikes? Orange. Orange is what's for lunch. It's not what's for breakfast. I'll have to mix in some other stuff here later. But hey, what's going on, everybody? So, topic of the day, they just don't care if you pay attention. They don't care if you're watching. They just do what they want, right? So a couple of headlines I caught off the, gotta hold my orange out so it doesn't drip all over the Jeep. Or all over me for that matter. A couple headlines on the Drudge today. Uh, unmatched federal spending going into the final quarter of the year here as September 31st is the federal government spending deadline, what they call their fourth quarter. They get a whole 3 months ahead of you. You know what I'm saying? But that was one of the headlines. But then under the radar was another headline. So not only are they having record spending coming up for this year, for the end of this year, into the fiscal year as they call it, not only have record year, but they're just approved. Get your head wrapped around this. So, as the thumbnail says, Senate approves $854 billion in their spending bill. But wait, that's not all. That's a spending bill for just a fraction of the government for a fraction of the time, if I read this right. The only thing this is designed for is for a. This is just unreal. This is to fund the government from October 1st to December 7th. So yet we have another stopgap measure that we've talked about in endless times. We were back here, what, in March talking about this? Maybe it was April. Talking about the endless spending. Breeze coming through a little bit there. So while everybody's talking about these escapades with judges and everything else, once again the debt gets deader, and I can't even fathom. So Tuesday, Senate voted 93-7 to pass a sweeping $854 billion spending bill that includes funding for the Department of Defense, Health and Human Services, Labor and Education, which is the lion's share of government spending. Against the bill were Flake, Arizona, Lee, Utah, Paul, Kentucky, Purdue, Georgia, Ben Sass for Nebraska, Toomey, Pennsylvania, and Bernie Sanders would be against it. That's funny. But again, it's only a stopgap to fund through December 7th. You don't even get a full 3 months of spending for $854 billion. Put me in charge of the government. I'm pretty sure I can make that last all year. That's just me. A lot of people will be out of a job. As they say here, it's the first time the Senate has approved funding for labor, HHS, or education outside an omnibus bill since 2007, even though the package was not completed on time. Look a little further into it. Despite containing only 2 appropriations, the package represents roughly 2/3 of Congress's 2019 spending. Supposed. Yeah, like they're going to limit themselves. Of the $854 billion, $785 billion fell under agreed upon budget caps, and the rest came from off-budget funds such as overseas contingency operations. Once again, there we go with the DoD getting whatever they want, whenever they want it. Not for the defense of the nation, but for misadventure and nation building and everything else, of course. Here's another issue I have. It says here the House is expected to take up funding this legislation next week, ahead of the September 30th deadline. I thought appropriation bills had to start in the House and go to the Senate. Or is that just taxation bills? Was that only taxes? Maybe that's only taxes that works that way. Says here Congress already sent an initial spending bill to the president that funded military construction and veterans affairs, the legislative branch, and energy and water. So that if those get done, that'll get 5 out of the 12 individual appropriations desks before the end of the fiscal year. So some of this is long-term funding throughout the year, but a lot of it ends and causes problems if you don't get more funding by December 7th, it looks like. So yeah, continuing resolution in the bill extends funding for all other agencies through December 7th after the midterm elections. So is that DOJ? Can we just defund the DOJ? I didn't mention them in any of the funded stuff, so maybe that would include them. The inclusion of the resolution in the Department of Homeland Security bill puts off a contentious debate on Trump's proposed border wall. So there's that. That funding's being held up as a part of this, so that's going to come back up for this vote before December 7th. So yeah, DOJ and all the Homeland Security debacle will be temporarily funded, i.e. blank checkbook, if you could call it what it really is. But let's see who's checking in with us here. But yeah, that was really under the radar. Like, you haven't heard hardly anything about it unless you really dig for it. Hey, what's up, Tommy boy? Spitfire Sentinel is on live, ending soon. Who is Spitfire Sentinel? Do I know him? I don't think I know that channel. Spending spree abound, right, bikes? And that's what that one article, the other article was about, is that not only are government agencies rushing to spend their end-of-year fiscal appropriations, so they don't have to send it back to the Treasury, but they're doing so at record amounts, as we've documented multiple times. We're spending more than ever and taking in more taxes than ever. But yeah, so that's why we're still going further and further in debt. IRS needs a pay raise, says Truth. I think they got one. They're bringing in enough. I'm sure they get bonuses for more taxes, right? Debt-based spending with a Fox ceiling. There you go. Exactly. No end in sight, I would say. But it's a debacle. I mean, how long can this really last? Seriously, folks, like how how does this get maintained? How is this sustainable to, put in trillions of dollars and suck trillions of dollars out of the economy to go to government and expect it to function, expect this country to continue to function? I just don't see it. Tommy Boy says everything is too quiet, something has to happen, right? You always wait for the next big thing, right? Unfortunately. You don't want to sit here and, be all in concern, all the time. There was a good video today I saw. There's a channel, Squid and Bear. I had seen his name around, but I never went to the channel, and I saw a video today, and I went over and I finally subscribed. But he did a video of why you shouldn't be fearful of SHTF. It was really good. A lot of spirituality into it, but also just preparedness wise. Don't act on. We talk a lot about don't do things out of fear. That fear always causes bad decision making, right? So that was part of it. But that was a good video. Squid and Bear. Yeah, go check him out. I think I put it on the G Plus. I shared it on G Plus to go check out. But he was talking a lot about that, about the apprehension before the fact, But don't sit there being fearful all the time of something actually happened. But you're here at this point right now. You talk about a debt being run like that, taxes being run like that. How is it not inevitable that there is a collapse? How is it not on a Roman scale collapse, right? How do we get through that? We got joining us, Rebecca Bradley. Hey, good afternoon. How are you? Welcome to the chat. Bike says, I was just thinking about this days ago when the media was going to spring the budgets on us. They had to wait till after the hurricanes, I guess. That's what it is, right, Bikes? They're going to distract us from the real disaster after the flooding's over and all the ecological impact and everything gets figured out, but they're not going to be reporting on it potentially. That it's going to kind of let it go because it's the really dirty work that has to come forward. Yeah, that flooding in North Carolina is seriously bad. There's video out of the whole interstate, a section of I-40 just completely covered. It looks like a river because what the interstate is, it's all clear of trees and everything. It just looks like a river, straight river, but it's actually the I-40 underwater. Significant flooding going on down there. The whole city of Wilmington's cut off, but they're going to get all these other stuff pushed through under the radar, I guess, and then maybe bring them up to bring a little sensationalism to it. Because like I said, the House takes it up next week. All this other stories they've milked that stuff for the commercial money, right? And then they're bringing up this other stuff to get people re-engaged and fighting about it, just like this Supreme Court deal. Just keep people fighting about it when it's stuff they're bringing up is totally irrelevant, Hey, Tommy Boy, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. You're making a drink. Oh, it is 5 o'clock. It's not 5 o'clock. But it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? Right. Last minute reporting on the spending begging will now dominate for the next week, right? Yeah, everybody will be all trying to get their little pet projects funded, right? Everybody, though, I got the defense, I guess, was wrapped into that, right? I did say that, right? So everybody don't have to worry about endless war. You're going to get your endless war. It sounds like plus overseas contingency operations. So everybody's that little pet project is going to be in there. And they'll probably fund even more in the next time around. If we looked at it in December when they do this, it'll probably have more defense spending tacked on for some debacle somewhere. But then they're going to be fighting over the border wall. It's pretty apparent the way this is worded, with the Department of Homeland Security being excluded, that the fight is going to be about the border wall. As soon as the election's over, the funding for the border wall is going to ensue, and depending on how the elections go out, people are going to put red herrings out there, and they're going to demand that the border wall not be funded because the Democrats, win the House or whatever, or vice versa. They're going to be like, look, America demands this. It's going to be a debacle. For sure. Hey, Smolo, what's going on? Boom. Or wait, boom. Attention span of a gnat, right? Yeah. Rebecca, you live in the mountains up there? Right on. I too have been to the mountains. Yeah, it's got really bad. We were talking about that all week last week. The overwhelming rush of the refugees literally clearing out stores and Walmarts and everything else. We had a lot of anecdotal evidence of empty store shelves and everything else. It was bad. And then, there's legitimately flooding going on up there this weekend too. They're talking about landslides. They had that dam potential breach up there in Ashe County as well. Tommy boy, you're just too old. You don't know what a fist bump is, do you? The fist bump is after Tommy boy's time. He's just decided to retire from all social interaction of such. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. The fist bump isn't one you can teach Tommy boy. So yeah, I wanted to put that out. If anybody had seen those stories, they're on the Drudge. There's also one that talks about the end of quarter spending at record pace to really break us into, to give more power to the central bank, take more taxes from us, etc., etc. It's all bad stuff, unfortunately. But the fiscal conservatives, want to reduce our taxes and everything else, but yet they don't spend like they want to reduce our taxes, right? And the Democrats just get mad because you don't want to fund their abortion and killing of kids. So it's all hit and miss. Well, so we got everybody in here, right? All right. And another thing I found just on the social tax side, looking at the economic part of it, there's an article about Los Angeles is considering banning of sale of fur products. Who buys probably more fur than all the rich people in Hollywood, right? They wear the extravagant stuff. Like, would it affect the most of us? Like, not really. And plus, it's just LA. But when you think about what's some of the economic impact of this on a place that the last thing they need is less taxes in particular. And they kind of talk about that in here. It's an AP article. But Los Angeles will become the largest city in the U.S. to ban the sale of fur products if the city council approves of law backed by animal activists who say the multi-billion-dollar fur industry is rife with cruelty. The council was expected Tuesday to direct the city attorney to draft a law prohibiting the manufacture or sale of fur in the city. That's just crazy. Only used fur products could be sold. So anything that's already in the can, obviously your Salvation Army can still sell fur products or on Craigslist or whatever, which makes it rife for black market. Black market being in full effect. Whenever you limit the free market, the black market will kick in because it is the free market. It's just the government finds it illegal. But there's some tax numbers in here. Retail fur sales globally, it says, are 35.8 billion. You can only imagine that LA has a huge industry that supports all those supposedly liberal elites in Hollywood. It says here that Berkeley and San Francisco already have fur bans. Who knew? I didn't know that. I bet you people that live there don't have a fur ban though. So touchy-feely stuff that's only gonna, break them in the long run, reducing taxes, income. It says here a lot of fur is sold in LA. There's over 500 designer collections that have LA that is sold that are designed in LA that are sold in LA. It says, yeah, they estimate that it'll have impact on jobs and tax revenues. Yeah, just ban it all. One of the comments underneath was going to ban leather next. Yeah, just ban all the leather shoes, all those leather belts the cops wear around that support all their equipment. Ban all the leather. More of the same theater bikes. What about bartering with fur? Yeah, right, Smolo? I'm sure we can still barter, right? No problems there. Says if it's used, I mean, if you skin the animal and tanned it, I mean, it's used at that point, right? So it's used fur. There's so much happening, I'm going to have to start writing off all this down. Tommy boy, it's not really news. It's just a rant. I wouldn't commit it to memory necessarily. It's more just a sign of the times. Things to slightly be aware of, but know that it doesn't really affect us in the big picture. Hey, what's up, Crazy Scotsman? Good afternoon. Oh, the brand. Good afternoon. Is that the brand 23? Welcome to the chat. Good afternoon. What a bunch of morons, right, bikes? Banning leather jackets, leather shoes. You figure that would be the next step, right? Because I'm sure the leather industry is just as inhumane as the fur industry. I mean, leather is just the skin instead of the, you don't shave a cow, you take the whole hide, right? Or whatever other leather it's made out of. But what's next would be the question. But where's it going to spread to? Because like I said, it's already in San Francisco. It goes to LA. It's going to spread. Why isn't it New York? Well, New York is dominated by the fashion industry, so I'm sure they can lobby and pay off some people, hopefully long enough. But the black market will kick in. Have a good day, Rebecca. Take it easy. Stay good up in those mountains. Hey, Red October, what's going on? How you been, sir? Hope you're having a good day down there in Tejas. No Glocks. It's not Glocktober, Scotsman. I thought Glocktober was coming up. Oh, no. There you go. Glocktober in the house. There you go, Red. Hey, V-Borg, what's going on? Good afternoon. Thanks for checking in. Did Riza Giza come and check in? Wait, did I miss something? Got two of you guys dropping by here. See what's going on. Okay. I didn't see Riza. Did I miss Riza, or are they shadow banned? It's happened so often in some of these chats. Oh, mistype. You're bad. Never Glock. What's up with all the Glock hate, Scotsman? What's up with that? I think it's operator error on your type. We might just have to transition this whole lunchtime chat to praising Glocks. Even though I don't have one on me to display. Who was talking about Glocks? I don't know, something happened with a Glock recently. I think there was a misfire of a Glock. That negligent discharge in Florida was a Glock, I think. Improperly holstered or something like that. Nothing wrong with Glocks. It's all operator error. 9% of the time, right? Is everybody ready for fall to kick in? Bikes, I hear it's still 100 degrees down where you are, so you're gonna have to just you're gonna have to skip fall, go right to summer to rainy season, right? No cooling off for you. Red got a Glock 26, is that right? Uh-oh, here goes Scotsman's rant. Glock never changes anything and they never listen to customers. CZ life, all the CZ guys. CZ is a sweet shooter. I shot Rebs a while back. It's that CZ was a good sweet shooter. I have no issues with it. Really, it's whatever you got in your hand at the time that matters. Oh, it's only 98 today, Bikes. All right, it's like 80 here. Barely. 78 by my thermometer. Finally glad fall's rolling in. The leaves are starting to change on the cottonwoods a little bit, so been in the 40s at night. It's all good. Hey, Jeep Things Outdoors, what's going on? Good afternoon. What's going on out your way? All right, Red, you be good. You get that work done. Don't listen to us. Focus on the task. You get hurt at work, it's not going to be my fault. And then there's the 1911 guys. The guys that want to rely on 19th century technology for their life. Yeah, you go for that. Why don't you just carry a bayonet while you're at it, or a samurai sword if you're going to use old technology. Yeah, Tommy Boy, thanks you, Red, for your contribution to his Social Security and support. They're not going to give us the opportunity to opt out of that system. Somebody's got to get the money, right? Yeah, right, Bikes, I'm a hater. I carry a 45, it's not a 1911. Uh-oh, the Scotsman's got his samurai on standby. There you go. Just in case, right? So anything else going on out there in the world, Scotsman? Are you guys getting rain from that tropical storm coming up your way? Now that it's pretty much inundated all the Carolinas? It's over Virginia now, I think, right? I think we had a lot of people that are in that area probably just don't have time to get on the YouTube this week, trying to dry out, bail out what water they can, fill more sandbags potentially, depending on where they are. I think they said the high water was going to be today in some of those areas. It's not even fully high water yet from those storms because of all the downstream flow. It all comes from like the west mountains, of North Carolina, Virginia, South Carolina. It all flows east towards the ocean where all the water already is. So there are a lot of those places, especially in the coastal areas, the flat plains, haven't even seen high water yet because of all the water flowing down through there. Pretty madness. It's like this, like the disaster after the disaster. Hey, Smolo says, at least if my dog decides to use my 1911 as a chew toy, I'll still be usable. My dog's using my gun as a chew toy. I've failed to begin with. I should just cease carrying one. I can't imagine it being out and about long enough for the dog to get a hold of it. That would be Does dog leather make good shoes? That's probably what I'd end up with if that happened. Yeah, truce bikes, right? It can be used as a club. The 1911 makes an excellent club. That's the stories, at least. You can definitely take somebody down with that. Use it as a boomerang, or etc. Dog shoes. Yeah, is dog leather going to be good? That's what. A dog belt, maybe dog leather belt. It's probably what we'd end up with if he chewed my gun up. Oh, stippling the handle. That's what he was doing, right, Tommy boy? Yeah, if the dog gets hold of your gun, he just needs you need to stipple your handle a little bit to get a little better grip. He's working for you. Yeah, I don't know if that'd be a good story, but I don't know if that would pass the test. Scotsman, if you get to that point, you might as well have a boat anchor, aka a high point, and carry it. Yeah, right. All right. All right. Well, I just wanted to bring that budget stuff to everybody's attention and let you know what's coming down the pike. Um, they're probably going to set that up for some political discussion next week and be fighting over spending bills or something asinine that, again, it only temporarily funds the government through December, what they just did. And they're going to be arguing about that stuff after the election, in particular the Homeland Security stuff, because everybody's got to be safe and we got to build a wall to keep all these people in, etc., etc. So everybody, thanks for checking in. We'll check out here. We'll see you later. Thanks for coming in for the lunchtime. Have a good day. If we don't see you between now and then, live free.